Hey guys, Mig here with Caffeinated Gaming. Wanted to review Yes, Your Grace. It's a kingdom management RPG, which is probably not something that you're used to playing, but it's pretty much a linear choose your decision story adventure thing, and it's made by No More Robots. If you don't know who they are, they've actually got a couple games on Game Pass now. They have Nowhere Profit and they also have Hypnospace Outlaw. Those are two pretty highly rated games. I'm a fan of Nowhere Profit because it really scratches my strategy itches, as where Hypnospace Outlaw is just completely out there, and this game is kind of out there too because they don't make stuff like this anymore. You know, it's beautifully crafted as far as animation wise, even through the pixelated character creation, and it's pretty much just up to you as King Eric to make sound decisions, and sometimes those decisions have consequences, and none more important than the very first decision in the first place, and you'll see that right now.
Opa.
Iba. Iba. Uba. Uba.
And so first off, you get put into that situation where it's like, man, even if you surrender, you're gonna die. So you have no choice but to keep up this charade of, even though your king seems kind of weak, obviously the village seemed kind of weak even in this like flashback, because that whole cutscene happens a year before the events of the game. And so you're pretty much given the concept that, hey, 52 weeks from now, this is happening. So how well can I prepare those dudes for this fight? Is it even worth fighting for? And you can kind of sense, even from his tone of voice during the surrendering speech, that he's a little bit of a meek leader, and it kind of leaks into most of the kingdom of Davern. The daughters are always bickering with each other. The queen pretty much stays in her room most of the time. I mean, they have a loving relationship, but there's still like this weird vibe that Queen's kind of restricted. It's kind of I don't know. I wasn't really comfortable with the idea after seeing her so many times just hanging out in the bedroom. It's just kind of like, can we get her to do something? Can she serve as concierge? Can she go out to other kingdoms too and seek assistance? And no, so it's pretty linear in that aspect. She will come to you, as she does very early on in the game, to let you know that you need to talk to your daughters. That's some of the best writing in the game, I believe, is just hearing the conversations and trying to manage your daughters to the point where it's like, you want to get them back all on the same page, you can. Just like if you're not interested in doing that, you can also be the major douche, but there is qualities and victories both ways as far as enriching text and stuff that make you fall in love with the characters. Honestly, it's one of the strong suits going into the first 10 to 12 weeks of the game. And every week takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It can feel a little bit slower at first as you read a lot more, just get these things down, like the explanation of resources and taxes, petitioners. You pretty much have to worry about the 4 key stats on the bottom of the screen, which is gold, supplies, soldiers, and happiness. As long as you have those numbers on the up, at least above 0, you're fine. With the soldiers, you gotta worry about a more specific number, but I don't want to spill that because that might change the way you think about the game. But it is something you do have to worry about, and it is a tight window. You're gonna be recruiting leaders and other kings from other villages and cities and countries to help you defend against pretty much this barbarian invasion that may occur because you're not willing to give up that oldest daughter to the barbarians, that you gave up to them because there was a knife at your throat. There was nothing else to offer. It was either that or there's the end of your life. So I can definitely understand, you know. Whenever you feel a little confused, you have these massive archives where you can learn more about your family members, and these do fill up as you have more and more conversations with them. So it is something that you could drop for a week and be completely lost in another game and come back and at least read up on the last 2 or 3 paragraphs, because you'll know them for just interacting with them, who they are. But, you know, there are some things. One thing I will point out right here too is when you do help your villagers when they're having situations like, hey, this guy attacked, or hey, I want to have a wedding. You gotta be very careful who you give him money and stuff to. I've decided both ways on that interaction there for this man's wedding. It really didn't change a whole lot. A -1 and +1 wasn't a big thing. What I did end up running into was game overs about happiness, as my 23-24 happiness shrunk precipitously as I ended up running out of money and not wanting to deal with the loan sharks in the game, because the banks will come to you as soon as you're under a certain amount and be like, hey, you're not looking too good. You want a loan? First loan's free, and then every preceding loan has like an interest. That can screw you over as well as you're deciding, hey, do I pay my general to be on this week or not? And that can be a problem too, because hey, my general can only do one thing at a time, and he'll be successful at that thing. But for example, in this situation, I can send a general to help capture this attack, or intercept this attack on a village. But there's also going to be options later on in the game where I have to inspect, you know, encampments that are surrounding the city. I can send them out to stop sales of drugs. He's a master of everything, but the problem is there's only one of them. So which one do you put him at? And that's where the main decisions take place. You're always sacrificing something. And so right there, it's worth a second look or a third look. There's only like some limited situations where that's not going to be the case, and it's going to be about the first 12 weeks of the game, and that's about the first 90 minutes, because once you get past the wedding, that's when I say the game kind of opens up a little bit more, as far as you can invite whoever you want, even if they're a silhouette, so you can meet them and get to know them better. But until then, the story outside of your decisions and maybe your relationship with your family is gonna pretty much take the same route. So I want you to know that, just in case you get into it. This is an important thing to point out. And speaking of things to take into account, I mean, you just saw it. I actually ran into a fatal load situation where no matter what I did loading that save, where you can only have one save, you can't pass, you lose. And so one recommendation for No More Robots, just make that save start you on the day of all the mistakes that maybe occurred that caused the negative happiness or negative treasury, because then you can make adjustments, you know, and I think it would be a very good quality of life adjustment for the game. And that way you're not telling me I just threw away 3 hours of my life, because that does take into account my final score for the game, which is going to be 7 out of 10. If for something like that, you literally lose a full point for quality of life. The game's already 4 to 6 hours, so you tell me I threw away half the game. That's hard, man. That's a hard ask, especially for games like this that, you know, I expect to like finish them, be satisfied with them, and move on. But yeah, this happened. That being said, great music, great animation style. I appreciate it, at least. And I even appreciate the little things like the voice inflections for each character. You know that King Eric is tired. You know that, you know, his youngest daughter is very, you know, uppity and mischievous and things like that. And you don't get that in other games that use like kind of like the gibber speak. Like you get kind of like if you think like of an Okami, for example, or maybe even gets annoying, like it doesn't get annoying here because like when someone's upset, they're upset. Even if it's a brr. You know, you don't get the same monotone thing, so that works for me. And the story itself is pretty dope, and it was nice. It was nice. It was a nice game. It was a nice experience, outside of that one fatal thing. So yes, I would recommend checking it out, and also checking out their other games. Like I said, Nowhere Profit, Hypnospace Outlaw. They've got a game for everyone here, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, if you guys liked the review, please let me know below in the comments. If you did finish the game, let me know what you think of the game too. Just try to keep it like spoiler free. We'll try to have like, maybe a spoilers conversation if it gets pretty crazy in the comments. But try to respect your fellow viewers with that type of stuff. And if you didn't like it also, you know, that's okay too. Put a thumbs down, let me know what I could do better, what you thought, if you disagree with the score, anything like that. But yeah, I think this was a pretty solid playthrough. Like I said, it's about a 4 to 6 hour game, depending on how much you read, or even your speed of reading, and just how quickly you grasp the controls and the decisions you have to make. They may speed up the process for you a little bit. That being the case, literally only negative once again, just that one save thing. Just be careful on your saves, guys. You only have one, and if you start over, you're overwriting that. So that's the only thing I'll have to tell you. But for Greenman Gaming, this is Mig, and we'll see you next time on our Caffeinated reviews. Stay caffeinated, y'all.